Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Our rivers suffer from high levels of pollution due to industrial discharge, sewage, and agricultural runoff. Traditional monitoring is manual, time-consuming, and reactive, not proactive. AI models like machine learning or deep learning can forecast water quality parameters and help us identify pollution trends and predict future degradation hotspots. Today we have with us an SIH winning team that has worked on this issue. Let's get to know more about it from the horse's mouth. Hello guys, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi sir, good morning. We're doing fine. How are you?
Okay, great. Doing great here as well. So let's get to know about you first and then start talking about your project. So tell us something about both of you.
So my name is Dev Soni and I was the team leader of Team Nirvana 1, which is the name of our team. And I'm Ashwin Jas. I was a member of the team as well. We came from Jaipur. So we went from Jaipur Grameen to Bangalore to participate in SIH under the Ministry of Jal Shakti.
Oh, that was a long distance covered, and indeed, you did actually cover a long distance in terms of winning the hackathon as well. So, okay, Dev, let's get to know more about problem now. What problem was that you worked upon, and how grave is that problem?
All right. So we all know that Ganga is one of the most important rivers in our country. It has so much diversity in terms of its ecology, in its biology, and it has such an incredible cultural significance for all of us. The problem with Ganga is, since it is so vast and covers so many states, the amount of pollution that goes into Ganga, that is discharged into the Ganga river, is practically, as of now, very tough to cover and investigate. There are a lot of IoT sensors that the government has launched under the Namami Gange program, which is truly an incredible program, focused on rejuvenating the entire ecosystem of the river Ganga. However, since there is so much data, there was an incessant need of joining AI in this motive of cleaning Ganga, of monitoring Ganga, and of helping the water quality forecasting of the river.
Okay, so this indeed needed a lot of work and some very good minds to put that up. So what solution did you come up with? What did you think of, to organize this?
Okay, so the primary challenge that we found was that any solution that is to be made for a river as vast as Ganga has to be made very scalable. So our primary problem to tackle was scalability in this challenge. How we solved it, we actually used a very modern approach. We used something called distributed learning. So we identified 36 key stations across the breadth of the river, and then we trained local models on local data of those stations. Then we had an overarching global model that interacted with all those local models and aggregated their values. So any new station comes or any station goes, it does not start its learning from zero. Rather, it starts from the baseline that is already being created. So it made our entire solution very scalable. The other thing was that we leveraged LLMs to create inferences, to create more customized dashboards for different stakeholders, including farmers, fishermen, STP operators, and so on. So I think these were the 2 pointers that we truly innovated in.
Okay, so this looks like a very spread out work. So you must have been managing a team of maybe quite a large team to be able to, to achieve all that. So how did you do that in terms of teamwork, in terms of distribution of work? How did that happen?
All right. So I think that was some place that we had a lot of fun and also a lot of challenge, because everyone has their own set of strengths, and to be able to identify them within 6 months seems plausible, but it's very tough when implemented. So what we did was we initially got everyone to do absolutely everything. And then we saw how everyone immersed in specific portions of our project. For example, we had one guy who was truly exceptional, named Aditya Chaudhary, in terms of development. And I think by the end of our competition, there was one point when he had 4 laptops in front of him, when he had to manage everything together, just to make sure the website stuck together. Then we had Naman Jain focusing on the machine learning part, the federated learning or the distributed architecture. Ashar here was focusing a lot more on the scientifics of all things. So he was backing us with data He was researching articles and everything. Then we had Sanidhya Manglunia. He too was accompanying Aditya in terms of the website development, and he was also accompanying him and me in innovating in science. And finally, we had Tanvi Bansal, who designed our beautiful dashboard. And she had many inputs of where we could innovate, of what novelty we could get, how we could make the dashboard more intuitive. And then I was there just trying to make sure everyone stuck together.
Okay, you just mentioned research. So I think that is going to be a very vital component of this particular program of yours. So tell me a bit more about the research part. How did that, go along, and what all did you do to get a comprehensive research for this?
So actually, we had the pleasure of having two mentors, and one of them specialized in the deep learning and machine learning part, and another specialized in more ecology part. Both of them being very key in our project. So we talked to them and they guided us. For example, first we for the machine learning part, we understood different time series models, and for the ecology part, we tried to understand how the river dynamics work. I think there was SWOT models and so on. So we had to understand the hydrological and hydrodynamical models that define how rivers work. So in these two studies that we had to undertake, and then we had to understand how people interact with Ganga so that we could build customized dashboards for them. So these were the primary
areas. Then we also had CPCB's data in terms of how water quality index is defined. So we defined our own custom water quality index, building upon the scientific data that was there. He researched, digged up a lot of articles, and then by using the data that we had, by doing studies on what pollutants, what chemicals are there normally discharged in Ganga around the major hotspots of Kanpur, Varanasi, and then combining all of that into one metric that even the judges really liked.
Okay, so that was quite a lot of work. So now let us try to understand the workflow of your solution. So can you just take us through that?
Right. So the very first thing that happens in our proposed solution is data is collected by IoT sensors that are located across the length and breadth of the river Ganga. Their data is then sent to our database, which we implemented through MongoDB for now. There we have defined like classes of how the data, the unstructured data that comes, is structured so that it is easy for us to process, pre-process, and then eventually process it. So what we did was we combined CPCB's data, the data that SIH gave us, and the data that we synthesized as well by considering a lot of experts, including one of our mentors. And after combining all of that, we made a very personalized architecture that was then placed to process the data. After processing that data, some forecasts were made, some other metrics were made in terms of water quality and the physical parameters of the river Ganga. Those were then relayed to a large language model, which then made very incisive predictions for the entire system for all the stakeholders as Ashok described, from farmers, fishermen, to even the authorities and especially the STP managers and the people running the administration portion of rejuvenating Ganga. All of that was then very smartly processed into the dashboard that we had, the ultimate website, the front panel that we had, and it was presented along with graphs and charts so that anyone and everyone, be it scientific or just a common man, can come in, just open the page and understand everything that there is to.
Okay, so if this was to be commercialized, so what can be the revenue model? Who all can be the people through which you can, generate revenue and make this work?
Right.
As Dave said, there were two different types of people that we created customized dashboards for. One were the local communities. It included tourists, it included farmers and fishermen. We really would not want to charge farmers and fishermen, but I think tourists are one area. In fact, we had a customized chatbot that could generate itineraries in seconds just by describing a few details about their plan. So that is one key thing that can be commercialized. And then I think because STP operators and dam control managers, they are they could really get help from our project.
Right. So, for example, if an STP, the creation of an STP requires a lot of money. If we can combine the satellite imagery that we have along with the sensors data, we can create like much cheaper solutions, much cheaper insights for STP operators, and even possibly help them improve their situation. We talked to the Ministry of Jal Shakti post this Smart India Hackathon as well. And they even said that something could be done for STPs, and if done properly, it could save the government a lot of money. And I think keeping revenue aside for a minute, that would be a great help for the country itself.
Yeah, of course, this is going to solve a big problem for the country, definitely. But then, nothing like it if you can turn this into a commercial project also, why not? So I was just trying to understand that part of it. So you see, I mean, you worked on one particular river, but then there are many other rivers and water bodies on which this could be, kind of implemented and worked upon. So do you have any plans in mind or any thought as of now to turn this into something like a startup or some commercial venture?
Right. So we were actually brainstorming on this aspect of how could we expand this project that we built for Ganga to absolutely any river. All that we need for it is just data, right? Considering our system to be a black box, we put in data from one end, and as output, we get decision support systems. So we thought that we'd create a decision support system that would be applicable to just about any river in the entire world. I think Israel has been at the forefront of this, and if we could replicate something of that sort by combining the insights, the research that we did, and the experts that we consulted, we could create a truly AI-enabled decision support system that could help every river, almost every water body actually, where we could create possibly digital twins. We could take the inputs from STPs, we could predict their efficiencies, we could predict what portion of the cleaning is redundant, what portion is not. I think the first place that we should probably target is Yamuna, because the government has been taking up a lot of action since the incoming of the BJP in Delhi. They have decided on a four-pronged action scheme alongside the Yamuna Action Plan 3. So that is one place where we could actually put in our system and help the government, help the country.
I mean, really well said, because thousands of crores have been spent in the past many years, and the Yamuna River still remains as it was, and probably getting even worse. So maybe you guys can step in and do something, can be very helpful in getting things better at Yamuna front, in Delhi particularly. Great. So now let's come to the experience that you had at SIH. How was that? How was the journey during the period of hackathon?
It was actually challenging, but yet once again a lot of fun. We were almost disqualified twice or thrice. The very first time because we had to submit a document when our college was like it had declared a holiday, so we had to somehow manage getting our registrar to the college, getting a document signed. Then I think on the day of the hackathon, we were 5 minutes late to the registration, and then I get a call saying, if you're not here within the next 2 minutes, you'll be disqualified. I think that they had a point for sure. We went to sleep very late. We woke up very late. However, things just worked. We were able to stick together and make sure the things stuck together as well. Then after that, we had incredible mentors during SIH. They gave us true insights and real honest feedback. And even the evaluation rounds felt like mentoring for the first one, half mentoring for the second one, and then sheer evaluation for the third one. Even though that was super challenging, I think if there's no challenge, what's the fun?
Yeah, even to begin with, you were like kind of living on the edge. I mean, getting almost disqualified, not even once but twice. So you came out of that shocker. That's incredible to speak of. But then the other challenge that you might have faced was, as you said, the feedback was coming in. So what kind of feedback were you getting? Like, were there any pointers which made you rework or realign your thoughts or systems? Did that also happen?
The first evaluation that we had, we actually got the feedback that for one thing, we are doing great at our backend with our technical things, but our user interface, our UI is very bad. And that was said in the most harsh way possible. So we actually didn't sleep for the entire night and completely overhauled our UI in one night. And the next evaluation, we got the feedback that our UI was the best they had seen. So that was the kind of work we had to put in to really impress our mentors.
Additionally, the third evaluation round, I think at the end of the second round, they said, all right, I'll give you one problem. And if you can pull this off, I'll consider you in a good position to win. And that problem was to combine the satellite imagery and the water quality data in a way that would help us predict who caused the pollution, which turned out to be like a fundamental backbone of our project, where we could backtrack pollution. So had there been no challenging evaluation rounds, I think we would have also not performed to our full potential.
Great. So your story looks like a turnaround story at many fronts. So kudos to you. Hats off to you guys that you still clung on and managed to not only stay there but win the tournament, win the challenge in the end. So great, guys. So this was really, I think, an inspiring story as well. How to stick to your guns and finish the race. So great. So congratulations once again on winning this tough competition and coming out with flying colors. And not only that, but coming up with such a innovative and noble project which can actually be very helpful all across the country. So I'll wish you all the best for the future as well, and I would really like to see and hope that this thing sees light of the day and somehow we are able to use it in the real world scenario and you get some credit for doing this wonderful job. So guys, all the best, and thanks today for joining us here and sharing your story with us, sharing your project with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for hosting us.
Thank you. An AI-enabled DSS for real-time Ganga River water quality forecasting is not just a technological enhancement, it's a strategic necessity. It empowers policymakers, scientists, and communities with timely, accurate, and actionable insights to protect, preserve, and restore one of India's most vital lifelines.